Welcome to What's on Your Mind. No, your screen is not deceiving you. The subtitle for this show could be Two Fat Guys. I'm Tripp Rogers. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And joining me is Mark Bronkowski, and we're here to find out what is on your mind, because we want to talk about what you're thinking about. What is on your mind? Now, we'll guide the discussion, but of course, your opportunity to join us is, of course, to call us and to let us know what you think about the topics we are discussing. Of course, the show, What's on Your Mind? What scares me is we have to ask what's on his mind. That's a danger. You have to understand that this is a high wire act, and this guy may go off into a tangent. And first and foremost, I think people know who I am because I'm supposedly a radio legend, at least if I believe everything that they say here on the website. But I've worked on radio around. But people may not be familiar with Mark, who has a larger-than-life personality and has held many jobs. But I think tell us about the thing that you're most known for, Mark.
Well, that would be inventing the game Neighbors. It's a board game I created back in 1998. And it's been out in the stores locally and around the country. And it's a fun, exciting playing game. If you like Uno, it'd be a cross between Uno and poker. And everybody's got neighbors, and everybody has to deal with their neighbors. So if you want something fun, or you want to be able to give somebody something that that they don't have, that's the perfect gift.
And the funny thing of it is that some of those cards deal with things that I did as a neighbor of Mark, because I've known Mark for 21 years and we used to live close to each other. And so I relate to this Neighbors game very, very well. In fact, it's based on the cul-de-sac that you used to in Barnegat. We can say it's based on the cul-de-sac in Barnegat, right?
Yeah.
We can say that. I don't know if anybody wants to admit that, but it is based on that. So anyhow, so that's on Mark, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Again, this show is interactive, so what is on your mind is what we would like to hear. And there's a telephone number that you can call us and talk about. And the thing I want to first talk about tonight is a subject that one of the ties that bind Mark and I is the fact that we are gamblers. We like to go to Vegas. We like to gamble. Not that much into Atlantic City anymore, because we go to Vegas and we bet sports and sports gambling. But we have a modicum of knowledge about gambling. And one of the big stories in the paper this week is the fact the Christie administration is looking at trying to cut subsidies for the horse racing industry here in New Jersey. And that's an industry that has been very, very popular over the years. And in fact, one of the highlight racetracks in the nation, perhaps, is Monmouth Park. Monmouth Park, of course, located up in Oceanport, very close to us. Monmouth Park, they want to cut the meet this year. Whereas Monmouth Park used to run between Memorial Day weekend, I should say, and Labor Day. They want to cut the meet to about 50 dates this year. And they want to cut down on the purses. The biggest problem is it's about money. I mean, like everything, the state has, they say that the racing commission, or I should say the racing facilities, are going to lose about $22 million this year. And the state obviously is hemorrhaging money. They want to try and stop it. But the reason why I bring this up on this show is because the state approved off-track betting facilities. They approved them. They approved actually a number of places around the state to have them. Both the State Racing Commission and Freehold Raceway have those facilities, those licenses. And there are two off-track betting facilities here in New Jersey. One of them is up in Fords. The other one happens to be down the road from where we are sitting at Tom's River TV studios, maybe about 10 minutes down the road off of Route 37. That's Favorites, and that's owned by the folks from Freehold Raceway. And Favorites has been an overwhelming success. It's been there for a couple of years. A lot of folks like it. There haven't been any real problems or issues, although Berkeley Township continues to scream that they want it taken away, but somehow I think that lawsuit has gone nowhere. But here's the hang-up. they now want to take away the remaining franchisees from Freehold Raceway, give them back to the state. Well, the question I have is, why haven't they opened these off-track betting parlors? Because it seems to me if you bring something to somebody, it'll be easier for them to go and gamble. And the other side of this coin is that, Atlantic City is only 45 minutes away. Why haven't they expanded to sports betting, which is a big industry in the United States, especially here in New Jersey? And Mr. Bronkowski has a lot of experience with that. Bookies, they're there. If you want to bet, if you want to place a bet on a sporting event, you can find a place to do so. And again, why can't the state get a cut of that action?
They should, Tripp. And I've thought about that for years. And I said, what's behind it? How come they're not allowing sports betting here? And some lame excuses, But I basically feel that who is controlling sports betting in the state of New Jersey? It's organized crime, and they don't want to give nothing to the state. Why they don't want to? Why should they? They keep it all. So I think that's the biggest motive. And I personally, I'd rather go to Atlantic City and place my bet than have to deal with a bookie. They change the lines. You just feel better and safer knowing that you were dealing with a casino. I personally feel.
Well, the other side of it is that, why do we go to Las Vegas? Well, we go to Las Vegas for the snazzy shows, the warm weather, and the ability to bet on sports. It's not, listen, if I wanted to go to table games, I can go to Atlantic City. And Atlantic City is only 45 minutes away. But I want to bring this back to the horse racing end of things. Horse racing has really taken a hit. In Pennsylvania, they were able to revitalize the horse racing industry by putting slot machines in at the tracks. And the idea, and they did that in New York too, by the way, and one of the reasons they did that is to try and build people, give you another reason to come, and also it's an income base for horse racing. Well, this was done around the time that Smarty Jones was making the run of the Triple Crown races. And Pennsylvania got this packed. Well, one of the problems is that the Pennsylvania has taken away from the business at Atlantic City because, let's face it, folks don't have to drive to Atlantic City anymore. And now you have slot parlors. You got a slot casino in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania that has been approved. And people are happy to go just play slot machines as opposed to having to go to Atlantic City to play all the different table games. But be that as it may, the other big problem here is that the Corzine administration would not allow the slot machines to go to racetracks simply because the casino lobby said, guess what? We'll give you money to keep the slot machines out of the racetracks. It used to be, back when we were growing up in the 60s and 70s, the only legitimate form of gambling in the state of New Jersey was horse racing. And horse racing flourished. It also flourished because you had a number of farms and horse breeders here in New Jersey to supply horses to the tracks. You had a very strong industry in Pennsylvania. You had a number of great tracks there. You had a number of tracks in New Jersey. And this became a mecca. And they built the Meadowlands racetrack to be a showplace for harness racing and thoroughbred racing. In fact, the Hamiltonian is at the Meadowlands every year. But since gambling has taken place, legalized gambling in Atlantic City, the horse racing industry has taken a tumble. Also, land in New Jersey, let's face it, it is not very conducive, or it's cheaper to sell the land than to raise horses on it. And the farmland that the horse farms were on, and let's face it, Toms River was a farming area before the big housing boom back in the 60s and 70s, and that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of these farms going away, and the horse farms too. And your costs are also astronomical. You have to feed the horses, you have to take them to tracks and stuff like that. The horse racing industry has been under fire for a number of years. People are now questioning the humane aspect of horse racing too, because of some things that happened. I mean, let's face it, one of the most heartbreaking things that happened was during the Kentucky Derby a couple of years ago. One of the horses had to be destroyed on the front stretch. I mean, it's not something you want to see, and it's something that, again, people say it's a brutal, inhumane sport, that type of thing. But tying back into the horse racing and the angle of the betting, the thing that bothers me about this situation is that you have a way to garner more money for the horse racing industry. It's these off-track betting parlors.